Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Adrian here for DigitalDojos.com. Today we're going to have a dojo discussion. We're going to be talking about ad blockers. So let's jump right into it after the intro. All right, so we're going to be talking about ad blockers today. Strap in. It's going to be a lengthy discussion. It's probably everything you've been hearing about on the tech feed and tech news. And I wanted to give my insight about it. I kind of sat around it, and here's the thing. Ad blockers are nothing new. I know that. They're nothing new. They've been around for a while. AdBlock Plus has been around for a while. I wanted to talk about why they are, being talked about, right now in the news in relation to iOS 9. 2, my personal thoughts and opinions, and 3, of course, opening it up to you. If you have any opinions, discussions, whether it's an opposing view or supporting view, I want to hear it down in the comments below. I want to get that engagement and see where you guys are coming from, whether it's here in the YouTube comments on DigitalDojos.com corresponding to the article that I'm going to be posting this video with, or email me, digitaldojos@gmail.com if you don't want to make it a public comment. I would be happy to hear what you have to say. Here's the thing. Advertisement blockers. What are they? Well, nowadays in the modern web, the term that we use, we have really two forms of what I call advertisements. You have the traditional banner ads that kind of overtook, the annoying pop-up ads. You have banner ads, which you see all over the web. 90% of the web, I'm sure you'll see a banner ad of some sort. These images that can sometimes be truly obtrusive, or sometimes it can be very subtle, like you see here on Daring Fireball with an ad served via the deck. It's a subtle ad that doesn't really hinder my experience. And then you have trackers. Trackers are, as the name implies, services or little things that run in the background that track information about you, the viewer, in order to, 1, serve you better ads, but 2, also kind of ship your data around, in the sense that it's the reason why when you're looking at phones or watches or dresses, I don't know, you get those ads when you're viewing other sites. You see ads for those things. And now that can be good in a sense of like contextual ads and ads that are more catered to you, but that can also be bad in the sense of your privacy is kind of being thrown around to other companies. And that's something not a lot of people are a fan of. Thus, they enable things to disable said trackers. Now, why do people necessarily block ads? Why, are people blocking ads? Well, 2 things, obtrusive and performance. It could be obtrusive to people. They can be annoying to people flat out, and they can hinder performance. Now, me personally, I'll admit I use AdBlock Plus for selective blocking. I do not mind advertisements in general in the sense that I don't mind seeing a small ad here or there on a page. I don't mind seeing it in the middle of my article if I can easily just go through it. I don't even mind it at times in YouTube videos or little sponsor breaks in podcasts, because a majority of the time, that content that I'm viewing, 99% of the time, it's stuff that I'm getting 100% for free. Like 100% of the time I'm getting that stuff free, unless that 1% where I'm paying for stuff or whatever. But 99% of the content I watch on the web is free, and I get to see all of that, and I don't mind sitting through a 30-second ad or a little banner ad on the side, especially for the people and content creators that I personally support. Obtrusive ads. Now, there's ads that really just kind of, I think things that aren't in aspect like contextually right, things that don't necessarily go with the theme of the site or the content at hand, that are just so off center. Things that like when you're going through those slideshows, I hate slideshows in general just to get page views, and then every 3 slides you get an ad, like things like that. Those are just really killing my will to even want to view the content in the first place. Like if you're making me jump through hoops to view the content at hand, then that's like a no-go for me. And that's the reason I use AdBlock Plus for selective blocking. Now with iOS ad blockers, it's really changing up the game because it's blocking ads on the mobile end, on your iPhones, on iOS 9. It's the reason why a lot of these apps have surfaced to the top paid apps, and currently the #1 spot, which was previously held by an ad blocker, Peace, has been overtaken by Crystal because the developer of Peace, a very popular developer Marco Arment, was quoted saying it just didn't or doesn't feel good. The success that came from his ad blocker didn't feel good because of him being kind of the moral arbiter behind what gets blocked or not gets blocked. He didn't want that pressure, so he removed his app after 2 days of it being at the top app in the App Store. And for example, here on the right, you can see what Crystal is promising. You get 4 times faster web speed, just 50% less data usage, improved battery life, improved multitasking, and securing your privacy. Now, those all are great things. Those are great things, and that's a big reason why a lot of people are flocking towards ad blockers. It makes the web less, obtrusive for them. It makes it less friction for their browsing experience and improves their overall performance. So of course they're flocking to it. Now, here's the arguments that are really being made from kind of all different sides of the table. And it's kind of hard to play, and I hate to play devil's advocate in the sense that I kind of come from both sides because I am a content consumer just like you are. At the same time, I'm a content creator. My livelihood, my businesses are in the content creation space. Specifically Digital Dojos is that of the advertising space. Luckily, I have a client services business that, allows me to sustain a living and all of that, where I don't have to pay too much attention to all of that. But, and I'm not too affected by things like ad blockers and so on and so forth. But the consumer angle, why are people blocking ads? Well, obviously they want an ad-free experience. In most cases, a lot of people are willing to pay for that. They're willing to pay for these ad blockers for $1 or $2 to maintain their free content. Or in even rarer cases, some people are willing to pay for content in general. If it gets them an ad-free experience, they're willing to pay for a paywall. They're willing to pay for a subscription service or an exclusive members club or what have you in order to get that ad-free experience because they truly just want an ad-free experience and to be able to support whoever the content creator is. Now, that's very few and far between. Some people are able to pull that off, not many. And again, getting down to it, it's less annoying, it's less friction. Now, for content creators, these advertising networks, it's still a big source of revenue, let's just be honest. Even more so for the independent creators, it really is their livelihood when they have just one sponsor or one ad that literally pays the bills and makes it worth their time. That's why they're against ad blockers. And I can understand that as well for the people who are really, truly being affected by it in the way they are. Now, of course, that doesn't mean that they shouldn't adapt because the web is changing, technology is changing. Obviously, this iOS 9 blocker being introduced is a big proof of that, I think. You have the middle ground argument, of course, in the sense that there's selective blocking. You can whitelist people that you support. That's something I do. That's something I take the time to do. Does everybody do that? No, let's be honest. Of course, there's the argument people should find other sources of revenue and alternatives to advertising. I do believe in that. Like I said, I think business in general is all about adapting, and I think we do have to adapt eventually from advertising, but right now it is still kind of the easiest way to monetize a blog or what have you. There's arguments in the middle ground about what approach do we take. Do we take the all or nothing approach as far as with ad blockers? Should our ad blockers just block everything outright that is an ad, whether or not it's an obtrusive ad or not obtrusive ad? Or should it have this default whitelist of things that it thinks are good, like ads via the deck, for example? That's subjective. That's really hard to determine what is a moral ad, what isn't, because that's different to everybody. Like I said, there's the ads that annoy me personally. And I have my own personal preferences towards that. And like I said, when it comes to these ad blockers, I think it is all personal preference because however you want to view the web, if you come over to digitaldojos.com, you have an ad blocker enabled. I don't have something that's going to tell you to disable that. And I'm not going to have something that makes you disable it in order to view specific content. I don't believe in that. If that's how you want to view the web, that's how you want to view the web. It's the same way if you want to watch Netflix instead of cable TV, you want to use Netflix. That's your own personal preference on how you view the web and how you choose to surf it with whatever extensions, add-ons that you have enabled. My personal philosophy at Digital Dojos, I try not to be a hypocrite in the sense that, the things that I personally am blocking, I'm not going to obviously, reflect that on my own site. Like those annoying slideshow ads or whatever, I'm not going to have those on my own site because then it'd be very hypocritical to say that these people shouldn't get paid. I'm going to block their ads. But if I do it, it's fine. I try my best not to do that. I believe in a very minimal sense in the sense of native ads. I have removed AdSense completely from digitaldojos.com. You won't see any AdSense ads on Digital Dojos. As an independent content creator who produces all the content, manages all of it, and puts my time into Digital Dojos, of course, I have adapted. I've changed a lot in the way that I've made my revenue from that site. Native ads in the sense of sponsors. I choose sponsors that I personally believe in, companies that I work with, products that I use, software that I use, sponsors that directly tie into content that I'm already going to be running, sponsors that just reflect the whole theme of the site in general, lifestyle, business, and technology. You'll never see, for example, if I get contacted, and I've gotten contacted in the past by companies offering X amount of money for a product that has nothing to do with anything that I cover or I have any interest in or know anything about, you won't see those ads on Digital Dojos. You won't see that at all because that's not something I believe in. That's where my kind of ethics come in with advertising. I believe in offering ads that are contextual, that I think my audience and my community will appreciate and value, because I would personally, because here's the thing, advertising is broken in the sense that the reason these big networks and content creators hate these ad blockers, another big reason, is because they don't get those impressions, they don't get those clicks, they don't get those views. And some people will claim that that means my audience isn't supporting me. But there is a lot of other ways to support as a viewer. You can, just taking the time to read my content, taking the time to watch this video. Yes, it doesn't necessarily pay the bills exactly, but there's a ripple effect in the sense that you might share this with people and they may share it and they may share it, and it causes a domino effect. You might view my content for a while and eventually decide that, you want to subscribe and become this or that. I don't know, there's so many different avenues that you can go down. And I don't hold it against people, like I said, who use these ad blockers. I just try to keep it very minimal with the ads that I have on my site. I try to follow my own personal beliefs as far as advertising and sponsors go. And then you're going to get arguments either way. You're going to have people calling you a sellout for sponsors and stuff like that. But you got to understand, 99.9% of the time, I'm putting out free content for all of you. And that time, and not just me, other content creators are doing this, and that, 0.1% or that 1% or that 5% of the time that people are putting out paid content or subscription services or something that is behind a paywall, you can't just immediately jump to a conclusion that they're turning on you or a sellout, because you got to understand that we are putting our time, our effort, our hard work into this as content creators, and we do have to make a living somehow. We do have to somehow get a bottom line profit, if even anything, just to keep the website and the lights on and things running, not necessarily create a profit out of it. That's business. We have to make our time worth it in that sense. Like I said, I'm in that position where I have another business that is doing well. I don't have to completely worry whether or not I find a sponsor for this month. I don't need to have a fully booked sponsorship every month, every 2 weeks or whatever. I can get by just fine. But not everybody, it's not the same for everybody, and I know that. So it is a very hard discussion to have. It's a hard thing, and everybody's going to have a stance in some respects or another. But like I said, for me, I don't have any problem necessarily with ad blockers. I do ask that you take into consideration people who you support and content that you support, and of course, choosing to whitelist those or what have you. As content creators, I do believe that it is also a time to consider, adapting, and there's all sorts of ways. There's Patreon, there's crowdfunding, there's so many different things. Switching out to native ads and sponsorships. And again, that's not all easy. It's much easier to say that than do. Believe me, I know that I've been creating content for literally almost a decade now. But in that decade, I've learned how to change and operate as time changes. Like, this ad blocker thing is going to be a substantial thing in how we have to, arrange the business model. But that's happened to me before. I remember when I first lost my YouTube partnership a long time ago from my personal channel. That was a big hit to me. And I was like, man, that's where I was making my money. I had no backup plan, and I kind of had to start from, square one again and kind of develop a new way to make revenue and make money. And if it wasn't for that, thing that set me off that path in the beginning, then I wouldn't have Digital Dojos where it's at today, and I probably wouldn't have ScreenCap where it's at today. But anyways, that's where I stand. That's where I stand with ad blockers. I just wanted to discuss all of this. I wanted to get my opinion out there, my thoughts out there. Again, I really want to open this up to all of you who are viewing this. If you made it this far into the conversation, I thank you for your time. And I hope you enjoyed. I hope to hear your guys' thoughts, opinions, whatever you may, wherever you may stand. You use an ad blocker, you don't use an ad blocker, why or why not. Leave it down below. And as always, thank you all very much for watching.